teams were 440-0 when they score at least 39 points or more and have 0 turnovers until week 2. NFL Sunday happened. Thank you, Falcons, for another lovely, amazing thing. Just providing utter joy for the rest of the NFL community. Your fans want to burn down the entire city, your stadium, and kill everyone on the team. But thank you for providing us some joy. Welcome to On and Off the Field with Durf and Dylan, an award-winning podcast, On and Off the Field with Durf and Dylan. And I can barely see it. I know it's back there. I can kind of tell.
Oh, you can see it back there?
Yeah, I can kind of see an outline.
It's kind of in a bad spot.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to put on display, especially at a distance.
Well, I feel like once I get my desk, the desk I built done, get that, it's all sanded. I just got to do the staining on it. But hopefully, once I get that done, I can have a better setup here for the podcast. So you should hopefully be able to see it better.
Durf out here making desks. You can make mine next.
Okay,
we'll work on that.
It's pretty simple, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look at it once it's done, and I'll let you know if I want it. If not, maybe we'll draw up a new design or something. We'll figure it out. But week 2 NFL action has concluded. I didn't count up what my record was. I did pretty good this week. I think we both did pretty good.
You got me by 1 because of the one game we disagreed on. But you were 14. Yeah, you were 14-2. I was 13-3.
Let's go. I got 3 wrong. That's pretty good.
No, you got 2 wrong.
I got 3 wrong. Well, I guess there's 2 different ways I do it. There's what we say, and then there's what I put in my app for one of my fantasy football leagues for a pick 'em. And I actually did pick the Falcons to beat the Cowboys in my app.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 wrong there. But hey, between us, wink, wink, I got 2 wrong. Boy, that Falcons-Cowboys game. TJ's in the house. TJ's 2-0 as well in the On and Off the Field Fantasy Football League. I think we got TJ, you, and one of the Matts. Because I think we have 2 Matts in the league. I think Matt Fink, maybe, I think is also 2-0 in our league. Because Fred just got done destroying me this past week. I went 0-3 in the fantasy football leagues this weekend. And none of those injuries really even impacted my team. All the injuries that happened this week did not affect my team, and I still went 0-3. So, cheers.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's not like, oh man, all these injuries happened. I lost like 3 of my starters. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
All my guys just suck. But, if you want to be in the loop on fantasy football, if you want to be in the loop on NFL news, if you want to check out our takeaways, as right after the 1 o'clock game, Thursday night game, 4 o'clock game, Sunday night games, we post a couple of takeaways from the games that played on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you want to check all that out, you have to follow, you have to like, you have to subscribe and share and do all of these different things. And Fred can give you the skinny on all of that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, make sure to follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we are live on right now. Make sure to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts because those reviews count. So that we know how we're doing and what you like or dislike about the show. And you can find all these links at onandoffthefield.com along with our fundraising efforts, merchandise, and to learn more about Dylan, myself, and this award-winning show.
Award-winning. Mine's over there. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I want to change so much about my setup, but I just don't have the space or the technology.
Mm-hmm.
We're up to 14 reviews, or 14 ratings at least. And our latest review comes from Dr. Boomer. And he says, it's my new favorite podcast. And he says, the podcast binge starts now. I don't know if he is binging. I appreciate the review, though.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Boomer. TJ Burns, how many points will the Seahawks put on the Cowboys this Sunday? No. If Russell Wilson keeps playing like Russell Wilson. He's you know what? If you go back to the playoff game the Seahawks lost against the Cowboys, the Seahawks were still a run-first team, and we were getting decimated. We couldn't run the ball because the Cowboys had like a top 3 front 7. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
Russell, we're not a run-first team anymore. We're a balanced team. We're a play team by team. So if the team has a strong run defense, Russell Wilson will torch him in the back end. That's kind of what we're doing now. That's what the Hawks are doing now. So yeah, I think Russell will have a big day. But the Seahawks had their fair share of injuries. I do not feel good about losing Bruce Irvin, one of our pass rushers. So now it's just a weaker pass rush, which is already probably the worst in the league. So I don't feel good about Dak Prescott having literally all day in the pocket, because that's what the Seahawks are going to give him next week. But for more information on that, tune into Thursday's episode where we preview Week 3 matchups. But this episode is mainly for Week 2 recap. But there's my breakdown. Yeah, at least 30. Yeah, I'd say that. I say you're a safe bet for at least 30, especially since they're at home. Defense for the boys is average at best. You can't give up 30 points to any team in the NFL being called good in the NFL. I'm talking about in the playoffs back in the day. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago? Not this year. No, that defense is pretty suspect this year. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so we'll just skip down, and you know what? We're going to start real quick with one of our favorite topics, our least knowledgeable topics. The other sports! Billy Donovan got hired.
I saw that. A little breaking news there.
Yeah. He's going to be the head coach for the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, he told the Thunder, see you later.
Who plays for the Bulls? Who's on that team?
I don't know anymore. I used to know, like a few years ago.
Rose used to be there like a decade ago.
He used to be there. Like, what was the other guy? Joakim Noah.
Oh, yeah.
When Derrick Rose was there, he was there. I don't know anyone now.
I think Billy's got his work cut out for him, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I'm sure.
I don't know what the Bulls got going on over there, but from what I can guess, it's nothing good.
I said they weren't in the bubble.
And so he was with the Thunder. You confirmed that for me. His name seemed familiar, but the Thunder, yeah. That's an interesting team they had there. The Thunder seemed relatively successful, but it was time for a change. They have a decent team there.
Yeah.
It's always good to have. They have Chris Paul these days, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a team that has potential, but Billy Donovan wasn't going to be the one for them for much longer. That's fair. Bryson DeChambeau won the Open. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So congrats to him. It's his first major that he's won. And it was a tough course. And, you know, Bryson played it. I watched as much as I could, which was not a lot. Bryson played it where I'm going to hit the ball as hard as humanly possible, and which for him is above average, we'll say. And he doesn't care if he hits the fairway or not. He's going to hit it as hard as he can, get it as far as he can, play it out of the rough, and he played it very well. Hitting fairways is not the popular option these days. I'm going for distance, and if I get a little slice and I end up in the rough, so be it. I'll hit it out of the rough.
Not like us on Saturday.
Right, yeah. For us on Saturday, we want to hit the fairways, but we end up in the rough and we can't hit out of the rough. So it's a complete mess, disaster when we do it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was laying on the fairway almost so much on Saturday. I didn't know how to play it because I'm not normally there.
I was landing on the fairway. I don't know
only on the second half of the 9 that I actually started playing. So
yeah, it's always hard to get going. I mean, Saturday was my first time golfing and we were saying at least 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that felt good to get out there. Shot a 51. The Bulls are still a team. Yeah, they're still there. I guess. I guess. Haven't heard anything from that organization in a while. So congrats to Bryson. I'll be keeping an eye on him down the future. He's one of the future stars for golf. So on to basketball. The Lakers and the Nuggets play tonight. A lot of Nuggets fans and people that aren't Lakers fans are a little upset after that last game.
Mm-hmm.
The refs kind of, some people said the refs gave the Lakers a little bit of an advantage there at the end after they squandered their lead that they had late. But then Anthony Davis drills that 3. Doesn't really matter. Wins it anyways. Say whatever you want. Lakers are up 2-0 and they play tonight for game 3. Who do you got tonight? Do you think the Nuggets can kind of at least steal one here? Or are they going to wait until they're down 3-0 before they win 4 straight?
Well, I feel like the Nuggets got to win tonight in order to at least have a chance. Because if the Nuggets win tonight and they somehow pull the magic out of the rabbit out of the hat again and lose game 4 and then they're down 3-1 and then win 5, 6, 7, like that's just nuts to be that down every series of the playoffs. Like how? I watched the highlights on the last game, and I was like, man, the Nuggets almost had it. Like, yeah. I didn't even think about like the refs doing anything with the Lakers. Like the Lakers just had like that last second shoot. AD drops it in, and from what I could see in the highlights, like the Nuggets gave a fight against the Lakers. So I want to go with the Nuggets tonight just because I want them to at least get one win before they're eliminated. So I'll go with the Nuggets.
I kind of agree with it. It seems like they gave all they had in game 2 and it wasn't enough.
Right.
Like maybe there's like one more gear they can click themselves into.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's more on the side of they're waiting for the Lakers to have a bad night instead of them having a good night. Because if the Lakers are just on, they're going to win. That's just facts. But if the Lakers are off, they're shooting bad, whatever the case may be, yeah, you might steal a win. But I don't think LeBron, if they go up 3-0, 3-1, I don't think LeBron is going to do what the Clippers did or the Jazz.
Yeah. Yep.
Celtics Heat tomorrow night. Miami's leading the series 2-1. Celtics finally got on the board there.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about game 4 in your Celtics?
I think they'll take it. I think now that they have Gordon Hayward back, they got their normal rotation in. I mean, obviously, Gordon Hayward is kind of on a limited minutes still because of the ankle injury, but we'll see. I still think they can take game 4, and then I still think it's going to go to 7 with the Heat.
Yeah, I just feel like the Celtics should win. Like it'll probably take 7, but I just feel like the Celtics have so much talent. I feel like they should be running away with this, but they're struggling, especially down the stretch. They've had big leads in all of these games, and
that's been their biggest problem.
Them. Yeah, they can't close it out for some reason.
Yeah, they build the lead and then they start playing conservative, and they don't keep driving that lead up, and then the Heat or the opposing team gets on a roll, and then the Celtics are playing down a couple points, and then they have to all start it in the last minute to win the game. So I wish they would just kind of.
Can we say the Celtics are the Falcons of the NBA?
Well, the Celtics at least know how to get it done, though. The Falcons don't know how to do it.
They can close out a couple games at least.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to talk about that. The Stars and the Lightning for the NHL, they play tomorrow night. Series is tied 1-1. And then baseball, this is the final week of regular season baseball. So from what I saw via the standings, the teams that are in the 8 seeds are probably going to be the team in the 8 seeds pending a major collapse. Especially for at least the AL. For the AL, the closest team to the 8th seed is the Mariners, and they're back like 4 or 5 games. So,
right.
pending a disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know who the teams are. Once it's confirmed, we'll talk about who the teams in the MLB playoffs are, but I'm not too concerned about it right now. It's baseball.
Yep.
It's looking like what? A Dodgers World Series probably, unless the Yankees can get healthy and go on some kind of stretch in the playoffs. Because the Yankees are just, they were super good and everyone's talking about them, and then like everyone gets hurt and then they're a disaster and they lost like, my God, it was like 14 out of 17, whatever the number was. It was crazy. They were doing terrible, and then they start hitting home runs again, and then ESPN jumps on the bandwagon again. Look at the Yankees, they're hitting home runs. Oh my God. And now they're good again. Like,
right.
I don't know. TJ says Stars in 7. That's, based off of what I'm hearing, because I've never watched any of these games, the Lightning are a little slow out of the gate. They lost game 1. It took a little bit of magic for game 2 to get the win. Easily could have been down 2-0. Yeah, Stars are looking better right now from my sources, which is like everybody on social media that pays attention to hockey, and I don't. So we got likes from Josh. Thanks, Josh. TJ gave the like. Kyle Eggleston gave us a like. Kyle put out a couple of good articles lately on his website. We shared one of them to On and Off the Field, our Facebook page. So make sure you all go check that out. And then Just Be a Dad podcast, which I think is TJ's podcast, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe. It's somebody's podcast. Somebody owns that podcast. So we're going to move out of other sports because we're done with that. That's just, who cares? There's football on. So we're going to jump into NFL news. Holy crap. I'm going to jump out of order here, but holy crap. What just happened? What just happened in week 2? Why? Everyone, it's funny. Everybody hates preseason. Nobody wants to talk about preseason. Everyone hates it. Let's reduce the preseason games. Let's get rid of preseason games. Everyone's sick of preseason. Nobody wants it. And then their favorite player tears an ACL, and now everyone in the comment sections of social media is like, should have had a preseason. Preseason, it matters. You need preseason. This is the world we live in. People just like to flip and flop as soon as it affects them. Sorry. For other sports, the SEC returns this weekend as well. For those who watch college football, I do not. In a regular season, I might watch some college football, but this year seems like such a disaster. Like, Ohio State is going to be starting up here, and they're only going to play a 7-game season with their 1-game playoff, and then Clemson's just going to roll the entire ACC. It just seems pointless to me right now to have a college football season. It's not, obviously it matters to the kids. For me, as someone that is not directly impacted by college football,
right?
I don't care. I guess Notre Dame's playing well, so Notre Dame against Clemson, that might be a good game. So we'll see. So yeah, all these injuries, holy crap! I want to get your opinion, so everyone's clear. Are these injuries because it's 2020? Or are these injuries because there was no preseason? There was a limited off season, because we talked about it pretty much every week leading up to week 2. There's a couple of soft tissue injuries over here. Someone pulled a hammy. Someone's got to sit for a couple of weeks. And then week 2, it exploded. So do you blame it on the pandemic virtually because of no preseason and a shortened off season?
Yeah, basically that's what it is. I think the NFL literally took the preseason for granted, and we don't need that. Obviously this year they didn't need the preseason. They didn't have to do the preseason because they were trying to maximize off-season training, get ready for the regular season. Obviously, if they would have pushed the season back a little bit, then they could have snuck in a preseason game to at least help these guys get conditioned. I don't think the conditioning was there in the off-season programs that the players were following. Obviously, a lot of these players with torn ACLs are pretty much stud players, and they know how to keep their body healthy. But I think the physical contact of live football in the preseason is lacking. So their bodies aren't conditioned when it comes to week 2. And now you've already gone through 1 week. And instead of a preseason game where the second game they're not playing as much, now you're still playing a full game. So now your body's like worn down. If you didn't recover enough in the week, now you're more susceptible to injury. So I really do think it is a preseason game situation, and then the off-season training being short.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised Ben Roethlisberger is still playing.
Me too.
Let's be honest here. Young studs like Christian McCaffrey, he turns an ankle. Saquon tears an ACL. Nick Bosa, ACL. Their other defensive line, Solomon Thomas, ACL. Bruce Irvin's a little bit up there in age, but, defensive end, we talked about him, ACL. Yep. Marquise Blair for the Seahawks, ACL. ACL. Has an ACL ever been talked about in a good way? Like, whenever you talk, the only reason an ACL ever gets brought up is when it tears. And you're talking about, like, the guy's out for the year, surgery, recovery process. No one ever goes, there goes Saquon Barkley into the end zone, 20-yard run. Man, that ACL looked real good on that run. Like, no one says that. No one ever talks about ACL in a good way.
Yeah.
But, man, I feel like it probably was trending on Twitter.
I'm sure.
I can't confirm that, but at the way week 2 went, I wouldn't be surprised if ACL was a hashtag everyone was using.
Yeah, week 2 brought to you by #ACL.
My God, is there brought to you by ACL doctors everywhere because they're all about to make a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
All these doctors watching these torn ACLs going, oh, I get to operate on Saquon Barkley this weekend. That's going to be so cool. And we were talking about it before the show, I believe, and my football teams were not affected by any of these injuries. My fantasy football team, I didn't lose anyone. I went 0-3 just strictly because my teams suck. But man, Christian McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley, those were the first 2 picks in virtually every single draft.
Yeah.
And now one's out for the year and one's out like 4 to 6, almost 8 weeks maybe. Yeah, not good for fantasy football. Yeah, if you had that 49ers defense, you might want to drop them.
Yep.
Gosh, just a terrible, terrible weekend for injuries. We hope they all recover. We hope they're all okay. And the Giants are going to sign Devonta Freeman to fill the void for Saquon. And then also Blake Bortles was signed by the Broncos to replace Drew Lock, who I don't know if Drew Lock's done for the season. He has a big shoulder. They call it a severe shoulder strain, something like that. So he's going to be out for, at least 8 weeks probably, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, Blake Bortles making his NFL return to go play over there. Yeah, I guess they didn't entirely like the way that their backup came in and played.
Jeff Driscoll?
Yeah, Driscoll. He looked okay to me. I don't know. I thought they were going to roll with Driscoll, and then they come out of nowhere with the Blake Bortles signing. I don't know why.
Well, they could need backup for Driscoll.
That's fair. They haven't announced a starter yet, to be fair. So,
right.
Colin Kaepernick's out there still, I guess. Moving on. Sean Payton, John Gruden, Pete Carroll, Vic Fangio, and Kyle Shanahan have all been personally fined $100,000, and their respective teams have been fined an additional $250,000 because they were not wearing their masks during a certain point in the game. Let me make this entirely clear, because I know at least for Pete Carroll, he was wearing a mask for most of the time. But yes, there were points where his mask was off. So they were fined heavily for not wearing a mask. Big question mark.
Mm-hmm.
The players aren't wearing masks, and everyone was tested. These tests all come back negative. So what's the big deal here? Why are you fining coaches $100,000 for not wearing a mask when you have over 53 players walking around the sidelines just willy-nilly breathing all over each other? Why does it matter? It confuses me. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it as the NFL like kind of taking that firm stance, and like we're like we set up these rules for a reason. Like we're not out of the clear yet. Like yes, we're like doing all this testing, and luckily in week 2 no one came back positive, but there's still a risk. I mean, like, and the NFL just is really trying to look out for the league itself. I think. And just trying to make sure that they can continue on the season. Like,
don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-mask.
Right.
I wear a mask wherever I go. And it just seems like an odd scenario. And I guess as I sit here and think about it, some stadiums are allowing fans, and the fans are obviously not tested. So if there's fans breathing all over the place, I guess I would be able to understand why you had to wear a mask. But there's players that are not wearing the mask. Like if the players had to come off the field and then put their mask on when they're on the sideline, I thought that's what we were going to do. Honestly,
I thought that's what the rule was. Like, or
you're right, because they were going to do in the helmet one for a while, but then that just dropped. So I thought they're going to wear one when they're on the sideline, maybe, but apparently not.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a lot of money, though.
That's a lot of money.
That's $500K just off of coaches, and then $1.25 million of team fines. I wonder where that money goes.
Well, the NFL better put it towards something good.
Well, that's what I was told on social media. Somebody informed me that it's supposed to be going to charity. I don't know what charity. I would like to do some digging. I would like to see the receipts of what charity that money goes to, because that $1.25 million towards any charity would be amazing, and I would praise the NFL if they did such a thing. But I just don't want to. I just want to know if it's true or not. Real quick, just because it affects you. Week 3 PFT power rankings: number 1 and 2, Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore Ravens. Fine with that, right?
Yeah.
Number 3 is the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
Number 4, the New England Cam Newtons. Number 4. And then you know who's right behind them? The Buffalo Bills. And then right behind the Bills, the Green Bay Packers. Right behind them, the Tennessee Titans. And then right behind them, the Saints at number 8, who just got done losing to the Raiders. I just wanted to hear your opinion on that, because the Patriots need to be much lower than number 4.
Oh, yeah.
Much lower.
They can be top. I would give them 10.
Because then that would put them behind. That would put them behind the Bills, Packers, Titans, Saints, and Bucks.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I don't. The Titans. I could flip flop those too.
Yeah, I would put Bills. I would basically just bump them up. Bills at 4, Packers at 5, Titans at 6, and then Patriots at 7, right before the Saints. Because I don't like what I'm seeing out of Drew Brees, and then the Bucks. I'm still skeptical on the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. So I'll put them at 8, but 4 is way too high.
Yeah, no, it is really high, and that's the media bias of the New England Patriots there that we have had for the last 20 years, and it needs to go away now.
And it's still there. Tom Brady's gone, but now it's Cam Newton, so they're still riding him. KC having a close call against the Chargers. Are they still that good, or were they exposed on Sunday? I have been saying this how long have I been saying this? I don't know how. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It's been since last season. I know at least since last season I've been saying this. The Chargers play Kansas City ridiculously hard every single time. The Chargers are like minusculely close to having the number of the Chiefs. They were overtime away. That close from beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And they play them like this every single game. They have been doing this for a couple seasons now. And the only reason they've been losing in the past is because they have Phillip Rivers, and Phillip Rivers is a terrible quarterback. Now they have the rookie come in, Justin Herbert. He played fantastic. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But that defense just knows how to handle Patrick Mahomes. Right. They just do. And it showed again. So were they exposed? I'm going to say no. Because the Chargers have been doing this for a couple seasons now, and teams are just like not paying attention to it apparently because other teams are getting burned still by Kansas City. So I don't think they were exposed, but the Chargers played them how I thought they were going to play them, and that was very well. One last piece. Week 1, Kevin Byard was actually the Week 0 NFLPA Community MVP, which is, I don't know what that means, Week 0. But Week 1 is actually Cameron Hayward of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He installed his first Little Free Library, providing 24/7 access to the treasures of reading while promoting literacy for underserved Pittsburgh communities. And as always, here at On and Off the Field, we like to take things one step further. Here is Cameron Hayward's foundation, the Hayward House. And this is, sometimes when I go to these players' foundations on their websites, they're pretty poorly built, not going to lie. I don't know if they just kind of get pushed to the back. I don't know if they don't care about them as much. This one is very good. The one thing that I can't find is a mission statement, which is a little unfortunate, but this is he wrote a letter to Pittsburgh about his asthma. But Cameron Hayward has had asthma his entire life and still made it to the NFL fighting it. He carries an inhaler everywhere he goes. You can read about his story and the Hayward House story in the About Us section. The team is the 97 team, people that donate, a couple of partners, stuff like that, and all their causes. They have a lot of stuff. The Literacy Project, which you just talked about, COVID response. Which one do I want to show? Sacks for Kids. He donates money for every Steelers sack Cam and his teammates get. And look where it goes.
Oh, look where it goes.
The Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania. We do the Boys and Girls Club of America. We could have done Rochester, but we decided to branch it out. But yeah, he's donating money to Boys and Girls Club of Western Pennsylvania.
Nice.
I thought that was pretty nice. Yeah. Craig's Closet. Hayward House is excited to announce Craig's Closet. Bring new gently used men's dress clothing through December to their salons, sports clip salons, so the high school males can get them and get ready for interviews and stuff like that. Then you can get involved, sponsorships, all these donations you can make. One of their upcoming events is a Get Back to School event that they're doing, backpacks and, to take some kids and go shopping with them. So, yeah, it's a really good website. You can learn a lot on here. Something that I'm going to start doing for the show is each foundation as a player. So last week was Kevin Byard. I plan on reaching out to the foundation to get a representative on, maybe do an interview. And then same thing, we'll do that with Cameron Hayward for the Hayward House Foundation. We'll hit this little contact button, and we'll see where that goes. So, yeah.
Nice.
That is his foundation. So thank you very much. That's our off the field portion of the show. Let's jump into the week 2 recap.
Yeah.
Week 2, in a nutshell, everybody got hurt. All right, have a good day. Man, it was crazy though. It just seemed like on every play, someone could get hurt. You never knew who. You just felt like someone wasn't going to stand up, and I was waiting for it to be like Russell Wilson or Chris Carson again. Like someone was just going to go down, and oh my god, whew. All righty, so Our first game was the Thursday night game. The Cincinnati Bengals played Cleveland in Cleveland, and the Browns get the win 35-30. It was a good game, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, he's doing his best.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all it is. Yeah,
he's trying so hard. He does look like an NFL-ready quarterback. To be fair,
he
looks like a quarterback. He is doing very well. He is constantly running for his life. That offensive line is terrible. And he barely has anyone to throw the ball to. AJ Green's dropping balls, which is, you know you're in trouble when AJ Green is dropping balls. Higgins is not as good as we all thought he might be out of Clemson. He's a rookie, but he's a rookie, so he's,
right.
Joe Mixon. Everyone loves Joe Mixon. He doesn't seem like a 3-down back. He just he has trouble running between the tackles most of the time. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But Cleveland, I got ripped up because one of my takeaways from this game was Cleveland's got an offense. Let's see if they can go on a run. And people lit me up. They're like, "Oh, it's the Bengals. They haven't figured out anything yet." Like, sometimes all you need is a push. And sometimes playing a bad game to actually like put together a game plan and execute it, that's all you need. So now my other takeaway was this offense no longer is a Baker Mayfield offense. This is a Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt offense.
Yep.
And they are ready. They look like they're ready to roll. We'll just have to wait until week 3. But do you have like major takeaways from that game?
I mean, I think that's pretty. I think you pretty much covered all of them. I mean, I watched the highlights on the game because it was news to me when I tried to turn the game on that it was only Thursday night games are only NFL Network, and they're not doing like the simulcast like with Fox or CBS or anything. So I went to look for it, and I'm like, what? So I watched the highlights the next morning. So I mean, it looked like Cincinnati was trying to come back. Joe Burrow was, trying to not necessarily play Superman, but be smart about what he did with the ball. And I think there's so much potential there now. Like I think he's shown that he has the potential to be number one. It's the reason why he was the number 1 overall draft pick. But yeah, that Cleveland running game, and look out.
Yeah, that's a two-headed monster that, if used properly, could be the best in the NFL by a lot. That's just two very talented running backs. I'm pulling for Joe Burrow, but the Bengals, it's hard to win in Cincinnati. What's it going to be like? Let's say 3 years down the road, Joe Burrow's got it figured out. They built up their offensive line through the draft. Let's say they brought one in from free agency. T. Higgins is rolling. A couple other people are rolling. They got another. Did they just build up and it's a young team? What happens in like 3 years in Cincinnati as a playoff team? Like those headlines are going to be insane. Joe Burrow turns around Cincinnati, now a playoff team. That's exciting to think about.
I mean if you look at it being 3 years out, like that's probably what the NFL media would call normal. So, like, if he were to do it this year or even next year, it'd be all over the front pages. Like, Joe Burrow, Superman, did everything, like MVP all day. And I think if you're looking at the 3 year, like, let Cincinnati build a team, build through the draft, build through free agency, build the right way, and be smart with how much you're spending in the salary cap. I think looking at 3 years down the road, I think, yes, it's a big deal. I just don't think we'll see it in the media as being as big of a deal because it have been 3 years since he was drafted. But I see your point, though. Like, that's going to be a big deal for Cincinnati. Like, Carson Palmer couldn't do it. Andy Dalton couldn't do it. Joe Burrow's going to do it in 3 years and hopefully get to the playoffs.
Yeah, I just don't see anything before 2 years being humanly possible, just based off of the human dumpster fire that is that front office. The Buffalo Bills went to Miami and downed the Fins.
Yeah.
31-28. A little close there, Durf.
Yeah.
Just a little close. That's
Just
all right.
a little.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of this game because it was
Mhm.
blacked out for me. I couldn't watch it. I watched as much as I could. It was Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And my God,
Again.
I swear to God, Fred, I swear to God, if Russell Wilson has his MVP campaign this season and Josh Allen is right neck and neck with him and he wins MVP, I will kill Josh Allen.
Oh, I mean those are the two names right now. It's Russ Wilson and Josh Allen. Not Lamar, Josh Allen.
Can I, without you getting mad, say that he played the Jets and Dolphins? So let's pump the brakes.
So
is it a little bit fair?
It's a little. I'll give you a little there. But first time he's had a 300-yard game and first time he had a 400-yard game. Like, the offense is just clicking, though. That's the thing with the Bills. Like, they figured it out. Like, this is K-Gun 2.0 from the 90s. Like, literally, like, I'm pretty sure the Bills only ran offense for 8 plays in the third quarter, which is where Miami started to creep back up. But then they came back and they got the ball back in the fourth. Oh, here you go, touchdown. Here you go, field goal. Like, no, there you go. There's your points. Like, they're clicking. Like, the throws are there this year, and no interceptions.
Yeah, no interceptions. That he's playing smarter too. Real quick, TJ, are the Raiders that good? They're 2-0. Am I buying them? It's tough. It looks like they're playing well. Josh Jacobs carried them in the first game, and then Derek Carr carried them in the second game against the Saints, and Derek Carr played great.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the Raiders later in the show once we recap that game, but am I buying or selling? I'm going to wait. It's hard to buy in on week 2. I know we're all excited football's here, and we've seen a lot of exciting things, some different things.
Yeah.
But it's week 2. I'll definitely keep my eye. I'm impressed with the Raiders. I'm very impressed. And I'm happy with what they're doing. Darren Waller's a beast, but I'm gonna wait because they have a very hard stretch coming up here for the Raiders. Very hard stretch.
Oh yeah.
They have to go to New England, and then they play the Bills, and then I think they have the Buccaneers on the docket. Yeah, it's going to be a tough stretch for them. So if they can make it through that stretch and still be above 500, then I'll buy it. Yeah. But the Bills, they compensated for a little bit of weakness on their defense. A couple players are out, but Josh Allen is playing lights out. I think he was, here we go, cue the music, things off the top of my head that may or may not be right. Josh Allen is one of now 4 players in NFL history to go 600-plus passing yards and 6+ touchdowns and 0 interceptions through the first 2 weeks. Just basically having crazy numbers through 2 weeks. And Russell Wilson would be there as well, but he had that interception that went off of Greg Olson's hands, and Greg Olson didn't even get another look for the rest of that night.
He didn't deserve it.
No, he didn't. Some people might have thought, since it was Cam Newton, Greg Olson was kind of, maybe he dropped that pass on purpose.
Oh, you never know. They were all excited to see each other before the game.
Yeah, they were out there hugging, not being COVID safe. Yeah, that's great. Let's see here. The Rams pooped on Philly. Jared Goff threw all of his touchdowns, all 3 of them to Tyler Higbee. Higbee is just picking up where he left off.
Yeah.
He's amazing. And then, I watched most of this game. No fans in the stands. It's all audio that's controlled by somebody. This brave soul put in a booing soundtrack multiple times in this game as Carson Wentz made bad passes. He threw a bad pass on a 3rd down. He missed a wide open guy. He threw an interception. They started playing booing soundtracks for their own quarterback in Philadelphia.
Oh, Carson Wentz's time is ticking in Philly.
I feel like it's done.
Yeah.
Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz are done. They have
You think
a lot
Doug
of
Peterson
money.
too?
Oh, absolutely. A lot of money went into Carson, so they kind of have to just leave him in there and say,
right.
just try to do a little better, please.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the clock is it's ready to strike midnight here for the entire Eagles organization. They got their Super Bowl, time to blow it up. And then the Rams, I was wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I like to admit when I'm right, but people are like, oh, but you said blah, blah, blah. Like, I'll say when I'm wrong. I don't care. I thought the Rams are going to be last in the division. They're 2-0, and they're looking great. I mean, the defense, Jalen Ramsey is shutting it down. Aaron Donald, he shows up when he needs to show up all the time. And that running game and Jared Goff off of play action is just amazing.
Yeah.
TJ's a big fan of the head coach. I believe he means Doug Peterson. And,
no, it's how about the Raiders.
Oh, you're talking about Gruden?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gruden's a good dude. He's on a 10-year contract, so he's definitely got plenty of time to try and win. It's his second year of his 10-year, $100 million deal. People forget that he signed that 10 years, $100 million to head coach a football team.
Patrick Mahomes in the first one for 10 years.
My God. Philly is becoming the new Browns. At least the Browns have talent, though. I'll never understand the enigma. Everyone said Philly was going to be great, win the division, compete in the playoffs. With who? With who? Deshaun Jackson? The guy's 50 years old. Carson Wentz coming off of 2 serious injuries back-to-back years. With who? Who are they competing? They had to move their Jalen Mills on their corner over to safety because they were out of safeties because Malcolm Jenkins left. Who are they competing with? This team has no one.
Yeah.
And it was confusing me from the start, and now it's showing up in real time. So, the Bears beat the Giants. Saquon, he was struggling, and then boom, season's over. I don't know. It was a typical Bears-Giants game. It was ugly. And
Bears
it
really was.
Bears got the win.
Yeah.
You watched this one?
I watched the highlights.
Oh, okay.
I did check out the highlights. I'm glad I only watched the highlights because it would be not worth 3 hours of my day to watch that full game.
I don't think I ever turned this game on at any point during the day. Yeah. This one had no pull. This one had no pull-in factor for me.
Yeah.
This one I should have turned on, but I thought it was a blowout, so I didn't watch this one. But until I saw the final score, and I was like, what? Huh? Yeah. We touched on it at the beginning of the show. The Dallas Cowboys get their first win. Well, Mike McCarthy gets his first win as the Dallas Cowboys head coach, and an epic comeback against the Atlanta Falcons. In a year 2020 where everything is falling apart, it's kind of nice to see something normal happen. Get back to some normalcy, and that's the Atlanta Falcons blowing 20-point leads. I don't understand how you can put up 39 points and then just stop scoring.
Right?
To be fair, for the Falcons fans, Julio Jones dropped a touchdown pass. There, I said it. But people drop passes all the time. But, there you go. You're happy now. You blew a 20-point lead. And when everything happens. Dak Prescott has like 3 rushing touchdowns. Thanks a lot. I have Zeke Elliott on like all of my fantasy teams. Appreciate that, Dak. But the offense goes off in the second half, and then everything comes down to this onside kick.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw the highlight of the onside kick, if I was Dan Quinn, if I was the special teams coordinator, I would put in my resignation right there. I would have resigned after seeing my team do that. That your team didn't know basic rules because that onside kick was terrible.
Yeah.
It was just like, I guess his goal here was to spin it. And then I guess maybe if a Falcons player tries to pick it up, it spins off his hand. And then, there's contact. And maybe that was his goal. I could see that. But this ball barely traveled 10 yards before someone touched it. It did travel the 10 yards, and then everyone dog piles on it. At about 5 yards traveling, there's 3, 4, 5 Falcons surrounding the ball, and they're like, don't touch it. All you had to do was pick up the ball.
Yeah.
You had to reach down and pick up the football, and you won the game. But for some reason, they didn't know basic football rules, and they're like, wait, it has to travel 10 yards. And then it travels 10 yards, and then the Cowboys pick it up. I don't know how Dan Quinn survives this. You can only pass the buck so many times because they have fired coordinators and assistant coaches left and right, but Dan Quinn has somehow survived. I don't know how he gets past this. I don't know how he hasn't already been fired. I would be embarrassed to continue this season with Dan Quinn as my head coach.
That'd be like probably one of the earliest firings if they ever did it.
And he deserves it.
I mean, I talked about it last week, though, too, when they played the Seahawks. Right. I'm like, something's not right here, and they're about ready for a reboot.
And, to be fair, I thought their defense could have been better this year. And that's why I was scared when the Seahawks were going to play them, was because, they've had a lot of injuries on their defense in the past, but now they're all healthy this year. They had everyone back, like Neal is back at safety. He's great safety. Everyone was healthy again, but they're still bad. It still isn't working for them, no matter what. It's the sadness factory over there in Atlanta. So to go back to TJ, he said Philly's the new Browns. I say the Falcons are the new Browns because they have all that talent and they just keep losing as well. At least they put up some points, but here you go. On paper, the Cowboys look scary, and that's the T-shirt. That's the T-shirt I got to make. I'm working on it. Hey, TJ, let me know if you would buy that shirt. It's virtually just going to be like the Cowboy symbol on there. But I'm thinking about, putting the Cowboy symbol on a piece of paper, and then the logo on it says America's team on paper. Because everyone always calls them. Oh, everyone always says Cowboys, best team on paper. Well, at some point you have to put it on the field. Nate Sudfeld to the rescue for the Eagles. I highly doubt that since he wasn't even active last week. They put Jalen Hurts as number 2 quarterback. Yeah. So Jalen Hurts to the rescue, maybe. Green Bay blew out the Lions.
Yep.
Between Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers, it was an absolute slaughter fest.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's pretty much it.
Did anyone get hurt in that game?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, not that I know. Yeah. I drafted Kenny Galladay in multiple fantasy football leagues. That's not panning out, obviously. Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a game I tuned into. Yeah. I don't know why. This one pulled me in for some reason, and it was probably strictly because of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
But I was watching a lot of it, and then I turned it off at one point because the Titans scored a touchdown. It was like Jonnu Smith's second touchdown, and they went up. They went up like 30 to not a lot for Jackson. It was like, all right, I thought this game's over.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, Gardner Minshew, baby. Dude, he's not a bad quarterback.
No.
He's just stuck in a terrible situation. He can toss the rock, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, because he dropped in that touchdown over to the running back that you have on your fantasy football team. He caught a beautiful pass in the end zone from Gardner to tie up the game. Unfortunately, they had to punt it away, and then Tennessee drives down the field. They get the field goal, unfortunately. But, my God, so good. So good. Minshew Mania, which we'll talk about a lot on Thursday because it's Minshew Mania versus Fitz Magic.
Yeah.
And there's already some smack talk for that. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he was asked something about beards versus mustaches. He says the mustaches versus the beard, I think the beard is cooler. Guys that grow mustaches have patchy sides. Shots fired. And then Gardner Minshew comes in and says, I'll let mine speak for itself, but I'm going to have respect for my elders, especially when they're much, much elder.
Oh, that's fun.
Gardner Minshew is the greatest human being on the planet. I love that man so much. No, the only Cowboy shirt I'm buying is Moose Johnson jersey. I'm sorry to hear that, but he's out to dinner. See you later, TJ. Thanks for tuning in the show. Always appreciate you being here, brother. So yeah, but the Titans, and it's already coming full. I'm surprised by Ryan Tannehill. Not gonna lie, he's playing very well, but Derrick Henry is. Y'all can go back to calling him a bust whenever you want. I'm ready. I told you, I was already ready. I was on. You guys can come onto my bandwagon whenever you want. I'm accepting. Of all people that want to call Derrick Henry a bust still. He had one very good stretch last season. I'll give him that. But, yeah, everyone forgets that before that historic stretch he had last season that he was a pretty mediocre bowling ball of a running back at best. I think we lost Fred to internet. Oh, there he is.
There we go.
He's back. He's back. I'm surprised you came back because he kind of blacked out there for a minute.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah. So are you going to come over to my Derrick Henry is a bust bandwagon yet, or are you going to wait?
Oh no, I'm jumping on.
Nice. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because he had 31 carries for 100 yards last week, which is not that impressive. I don't know what the yards per carry is, but that's not that great when you have 31 carries.
Well, it's less than 4, I can tell you that.
Yeah. And then it's probably like 3.3, right? Somewhere around 3.3, roughly.
Somewhere around there.
And then he didn't even get 100 this past week. The Jaguars kept him in check pretty much the entire game. But that was a good game. I was disappointed that Jacksonville lost, but did you watch any highlights from that one?
I did not.
All right. That's fine. All right. And the Colts and the Vikings. I had people telling me, because I've been on the Phillip Rivers sucks bandwagon for a while. Everyone doesn't like to believe me on that one, but I had people riding me all weekend after Phillip Rivers won this one. Oh, there you go, the Colts, 28 points. They had the ball for pretty much the entire game because Kirk Cousins throws 3 interceptions. He passed for 113 yards in the entire game. He took a safety for the second straight week. I believe he threw 113 passing yards. Stephon Diggs caught 153 passing yards. Stephon Diggs caught more passing yards than Kirk Cousins threw as an entire offense through the game. There's a fun fact for you. Ding. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor looked very good, obviously. I mean, behind that offensive line, I'd like to think any running back could do good.
Yeah.
The Vikings are in struggle city, baby. Riding
they
that.
Definitely are. They are setting up camp there.
I saw a couple of pictures of Trevor Lawrence in Minnesota Vikings gear.
Oh.
I don't know if they're that bad. I think they're going to have to compete with some pretty bad teams to get Trevor Lawrence, like the Jets and the Giants. But yeah, I don't think that it's going to be that serious. But man, this team has. Who would you blame more for? And then we'll move on. Who would you blame more? Would you blame Kirk Cousins, or would you blame Stephon Diggs' departure, or would you blame Kevin Stefanski's departure more on their losing ways?
I feel like I would blame Kirk Cousins on this.
Just straight up Kirk. He just sucks. Just blame him.
Yep.
All right. That's fair. I think it's a little bit of a mix of everything, but yeah, he just stole $84 million from this organization somehow. The San Francisco 49ers lost their entire team to injury, but still beat the Jets 31-13. Adam Gase should be losing his job literally any second now. I would like to think.
Yeah, the Jets are a giant. If the the Bengals are a dumpster fire, the Jets are the dumpster fire next to them that got thrown into, or that got a gallon of gasoline thrown into at the same time.
Yeah, and that gasoline was Adam Gase taking like cocaine before his presser when he got hired. I'll never forget. That's a moment ingrained in
the googly eyes.
What do you think about being the next head coach of the New York Jets? Where am I? The Jets. Oh, God. Tampa Bay. Tom Brady got his first win with the Buccaneers over Carolina. I'd say Tom Brady had an exceptional first half, and then something happened in the second half where I think they stopped trying, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. I think Tom Brady played well. He played better, but I feel like there's still more to be had. But Chris Godwin was also out of this game. So to score 31, still not that bad. Carolina, they have issues, obviously. Young team, we've talked about them in detail. Mm-hmm. Plus, CMC goes out with an ankle injury. Arizona beat Washington 30-15. Yeah, Cardinals are deadly.
Yeah.
Washington has a great front seven that can sack your quarterback whenever, but Kyler Murray's a mobile young gun. You can get the ball out fast and you can get out of the way of pressure. So
yeah,
that's going to be a team you're going to have to keep your eye on very closely come playoff season.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, Kyler Murray has like this. He's different than how like Lamar Jackson runs with the ball. Like Kyler's like he's very evasive as compared to Lamar. Like tries to juke everybody out. Like I saw a highlight where Kyler just like running zigzags like through the field, and he's just trying to miss everybody, and everyone won't hit him. He's just like, I'm just gonna run here, then run here, then run here. So
yeah, he very much reminds me of Russell Wilson. He's got a different running style,
but he's because
that's how Russell Wilson used to be. He's not gonna like outrun you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just evasive. He knows how not to get hit. And that's probably because he's like 5'6". Like he probably can't take a hit or else he'll die. So he's very evasive. That's something he learned early, I'm sure, in his career.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Kansas City and the Chargers. We talked about them early in the show because we were asked about it from TJ.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers just know how to play the Chiefs. They just do.
Yeah.
On defense. They finally almost got that win. They almost got over the hump, but a couple of odd decisions on offense for the Chargers. For one, they gave the ball back to the Chiefs at the end of the fourth quarter, giving them a chance to tie it up, and then in overtime, you got a 4th and 1, and I know you're on your side of the field at this point. You're on like your own 40, but you gotta know. In overtime, you get the first possession against the Chiefs. At this point, I don't care. If you go for it on 4th and 1 and don't get it, I'm fine with that. Because you got to know, if you're punting it to the Chiefs in overtime, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Like, that has to be a known thought in your head.
No, yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. I mean, that was the part of the game where I'm like, oh, here we go. It's Patrick Mahomes time. He's gonna figure out this defense and just get the win.
Yeah, and he did it with his legs, did it with an arm. Mm-hmm. He wasn't gonna let that opportunity slip in overtime. If he has an opportunity, he's not gonna let that game get away, and he didn't. But Justin Herbert got called up because Tyrod Taylor had something. Chest issue. Chest
injury.
Couldn't breathe or whatever.
Yeah, he aggravated it during warm-ups. So it was kind of like literally a last-minute decision to say, "Here you go, Herbert.
Yeah,
let's go."
Very last minute. Like he's just doing like little fun warm-ups over there. He's like, "Yeah, just tossing the ball. I'm just gonna be the backup." He gets, "Hey, you're gonna start today. Oh shit! I can actually try and warm up now. Oh my god! Talk about pressure.
Yeah.
First game getting called up last minute to play against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. He played great.
He did. He played really well.
Outstanding football from him. So Tyrod, it should be official. I don't think it is. I think there's actually a lot of hate right now for the Chargers that Tyrod actually might come back and be the starter still. I don't know why. And he played exceptionally well. Justin Herbert should definitely be the starter from here on out.
This is literally what happened to Tyrod back in the Browns. Baker comes in for him, and that's it. Herbert,
it's like Alex Smith story all over again.
Yeah.
Anywhere Alex Smith goes, he goes out for like one game because of injury, and he gets taken over by some backup. And a couple people are saying, it's not fair to Tyrod Taylor that he would get his starting job taken because he was injured. Ever heard of a guy named Drew Bledsoe? We already brought up Alex Smith. There's a couple of examples out there already of people losing their starting jobs to injury. It just happens. It's the way of the game. So
yeah.
Kansas City does get the win overtime. Baltimore beat Houston 33-16. I don't know what you want me to say.
That's why they have the easiest schedule this year.
I feel like every single week it's gonna be like this with Baltimore. They have the easiest schedule. We're just gonna walk up here and be like, they beat the team. Good for them. That's just what it's gonna be all season.
Yeah.
Until the playoffs. Big game here. Seattle beat New England.
Yeah.
The thriller. My God. Russell Wilson, 5 touchdown passes. Let Russ cook is obviously working. And it's, I think the misconception is let Russ cook means just throw the ball 100% of the game. No, it means Russell Wilson gets full control of this offense.
Right.
A play is called by Brian Schottenheimer, the offense coordinator. Russell Wilson goes up to the line, and he either runs that play or he sees something he likes, and he changes it to whatever he damn well pleases. And if that means it's 4th and 5 and he wants to chuck it 40 yards down the field, Godspeed, son. Go do it. A lot of people are upset with, this game, great game. So far, Russell Wilson has 9 touchdown passes and 11 incompletions. Stat of the day. But the big gripe everyone had from this game was near the end of the game, under 2 minutes, like a minute 30 left. It's third and 1, 3rd and 2, and Russell Wilson decided to throw the ball deep and misses the target. I think it was Tyler Lockett deep. Instead of maybe just run up the middle, pick up the first down.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to remind everybody against the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoffs last season, Russell Wilson sealed that game on a 3rd and short with a deep ball to DK Metcalf. So let me just remind everyone, just because the play doesn't work doesn't mean it was a bad play.
Right.
It's the Seahawks throwing a pass from the 1 yard line in the Super Bowl. Doesn't mean it was a bad play call, just a bad result. And then the same thing, Cam Newton tries to run it at the 1 yard line in this game and doesn't get in. It's not a bad play call because the Seahawks haven't been able to stop it all night. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
I see the question you asked here. Why did Cam not bounce it outside of the goal line on that last drive? Is that what you mean there? Why did it bounce out?
So if you watch the highlight of him on that play, he basically is running. I couldn't tell you what you would call it. He's just running like directly in a direction, like where he's supposed to go with the line. Like the hole's slightly there, but there's now a Seahawk in his way with a Patriot guy like on the ground. Like they're in his way. So what does he do from the 3 yard line? He dives. Why are you diving 9 feet away from the goal line?
With the ball still tucked into his arm. He's not even reaching for the goal line. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he should have seen, if he would have bounced it out and went wide, he would have been in. Or he would have been a lot closer. He could have used the lateral distance of the field and went towards the pylon to put the ball in the end zone. But
yeah,
I don't think he knew where he was in the field, and that's what somewhat worries me with Cam Newton in New England.
Yeah, I think, honestly, it seems weird for a guy who was an MVP and was in a Super Bowl to say that the pressure got to him. Because he knew he was going to be in charge of that play, that he was going to have the ball, and he was going to have to put it in the end zone. I think the pressure got to him because he said he watched the play after, and then he went and did an interview, post-game interview, and he said, rewatching it, he should have bounced out. He did admit that should have been what he did, but the play call was the guard was supposed to pull, but Bobby Wagner came out the middle and kind of bumped the guard off the route, so the guard wasn't able to pull and make a hole bigger for Cam Newton. So the play got blown up right there. I've watched that play so many times, you have no idea. I've watched it from so many angles. But yeah, it was a good play by the defense, not a good play from Cam, but my Hawks get the win. Super happy.
Yeah.
The Raiders beat the Saints. And we already talked about the Raiders. TJ brought up the Raiders a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, are you buying them or are you just going to sit and wait? It's week 2.
So I'm not buying, but this is like if, say, I was looking at something like a new car or like a new set of golf clubs. I'm doing my research right now. Like I'm looking at the reviews. I'm looking at what's trending at the team. What changes have they done? What are new features for the team? I'm not quite there yet to buy. I need another week or two. I haven't convinced myself enough to buy into them yet, so I need more information to see it. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah, once I see Derek Carr hit Henry Ruggs on that deep route, then I'll buy it. But he missed a couple of those deep balls last night. He had him with at least 2 yards of separation at one point off of Malcolm Jenkins, but he missed that throw. So if that connection can click, it's a new connection. It's a quarterback with his rookie wide receiver. I mean, you have to let time grow there, but if that starts hitting, boy oh boy, that's gonna be dangerous. But my main concern comes with the Saints, and granted they were missing Michael Thomas, but Michael Thomas doesn't play defense.
No, he does.
And Malcolm Jenkins played terrible football last night. And I would say the only thing they did well last night was contain Josh Jacobs. Contain Josh Jacobs.
Right.
They did their best, I would say. It was not a good game. It was a very concerning game from the Saints. I am concerned. Yeah. And if you just lose Michael Thomas and you end up playing like that, 10 penalties, 120 penalty yards, I think. Just undisciplined offense.
Yeah.
Drew Brees missing throws all over the place. The offensive line, which is supposed to be one of the best offensive lines in the league, Drew Brees barely had time in the pocket. It was a bad game. Very bad. And I just got done saying last week the NFC South will run through New Orleans. I'm not so sure anymore.
Yeah. It almost seems like they're like that. They're like a frail like China doll. Like when all the pieces are together, they're great. But as soon as like the China doll loses like an ear or something, it's just disaster. Like it's just gonna fall apart. There's no consistency with the team. Drew Brees doesn't look like himself. Like he looks like he's on his way out. Like I think he is. I think this is probably his last year on his way out. The defense didn't do a great job. I mean, Derek Carr for the Raiders, he's a consistent style of play, and he's been that same kind of way, not taking a ton of chances. He's a little on the conservative side. I didn't watch a ton of the game. I watched a good amount of the game last night, starting a little early this morning, so it was kind of hard for me. But the Saints know what kind of quarterback he is. They know that he's going to go to Darren Waller. Darren Waller blew him up in the middle of that defense.
13, 14 catches.
Yeah.
My God.
So, I mean, yeah, the Saints are. You don't want to be like, oh, the Saints are falling apart. Well, something's clearly not right in New Orleans, and maybe it is what it's going to be. Is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to take the NFC South, and it's going to run through Tampa. Like it's possible if Tom Brady gets his whatever figured out, his 43-year-old, 42,
Yeah,
I don't
40,
know,
43, yeah.
yeah, get his 30-year-old body moving the right way, then maybe they'll be the Saints will be traveling to Tampa to try to get that division.
Yeah, everyone thought NFC South, the division to watch, it's going to be epic. Everyone's going to be, these squads are going to be double-digit wins, impossible to stop. But here we are. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady's still trying to figure it out. We're not sure if they're going to figure it out this season. They're still working out some things. The Saints, big question marks after that Raiders game. The Falcons, we already talked about the Falcons. My God. Who knows what they're doing? And then obviously the Panthers. Who knows? Maybe the Panthers win this division. They figure things out on offense. And this is anyone's division, man.
Yeah, this is literally turning into NFC East all over again.
It's a mess right now. There's a lot of potential for any of these teams to blow up, but
I will say the positive about the Raiders, their stadium is pretty cool.
That stadium is sexy.
That torch. Oh yeah. Oh man, was that nice.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, man, they actually did it. They did it. They made this stadium cool. And you can make as many jokes as you want. People are calling it the Roomba Stadium, the Death Star, whatever you want to call it. Death Star
is cool, though.
Death Star is cool. Someone called it like the toilet bowl. They put like a little toilet on the top of it. Nah, man, that stadium is dope. I want to go to it. If the Seahawks play the Raiders, I'm going.
I heard they're going to call it the Big Al.
Big what?
The Big Al. Like
AL.
Al.
Oh, I thought you said the Big Al. I was like, what?
No. Big Al for like Al Davis.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good.
Like it's Allegiant Stadium, but kind of playing words there, but yeah.
Yeah, the nickname there.
Yeah.
I guess Big Al Allegiant, but Al Davis. It kind of works. It works either way. All right. Well, I think that's our show.
I think so.
That's our recap. We did pretty good on picks. That's a very good weekend on picks. Hopefully your guys' fantasy teams aren't in complete disarray. We'll pray for you. And I guess as we leave, as always, hey, Durf, give these people some advice, would you?
Protect your nuts.